Hi folks, this is Nick Roth, your data coordinator for the Family Planning Program. We are now going to go over how to manually enter data into iCare. Now once you log into iCare, your screen is going to look a little something like this. This is the result of gaining access to iCare after contacting the health department, and this is what your home page will generally look like. To start with, we're going to go through a little bit of information on how to use the advanced search and the client search. So we essentially have two types of ways in which you can search in iCare. And the first one is going to be your advanced search, which you'll find on the home page in your upper left here. You also have a quick search that you can use. However, I just want to show you a little bit about the advanced search. There are a couple places you can find it. It is right here. It's also up on your top nav of the website on your home page. And once you open it up, your advanced search is a pop-up screen, and really it adds maiden name to what you're searching for other than what the quick search does for you. They both do the same thing. You can both use them to equal effect. And we do ask that you search for clients 2 times before you do enter a record and then enter information, just to make sure that we're not creating duplicates. So you can search by birth date, first name, last name, maiden name, which are not pictured here. They're a little off to the side. You can also do that on the quick search. Very important to note, in the ID types, you can search for the IRIS ID, a social security number, or a Medicaid number. You're going to want to start your search with the client's first initial, the last name, and then their date of birth, and hit the search button. You must search for your client by at least one parameter in order to make sure that you have not located the individual already in the system. And that's the point at which you can hit Add Client. We really want you to search a couple of times to make sure that you have not created a duplicate in the system, and just to show you what that looks like. So for example, if I'm on my home page and I want to search for myself, I'm going to look for Nick Roth. I'm going to go ahead and hit search. The system will look for me, and I have no search results. So on a second search, what I may want to do is take the first name, keep it, or you can knock it down to initials actually, and then you can search by that date of birth, which is a pretty unique identifier. I'm going to throw in Christmas of a year and then search. And I've also come up with nothing here. So this is the point at which you could click Add a Client, and that'll get you into the data entry of adding an additional client. But for now, we're just going to finish up on what the general search information is in iCare. So when you use that quick search option and you actually have a hit, you'll notice that the results come in as such, where you have a record number for that individual, and then you have a last name, first name, and a date of birth. Now from here you can click on any one of these numbers and it'll take you directly into that patient's record. And from there you can access clinic visit information. You can also update a client's contact information and or general information. And we're going to show you about that next. But one important thing to note about these search results from the quick search is that you may end up with multiple pages of results. You're only going to display a certain amount here, usually 3. So you'll note that if you have a second page of results, you'll get the 2 right here. If you click on that, that'll allow you to go to that second page of results for an attempt to further locate your individual. So we're going to move on to some visit information and just generally what iCare looks like once you dig into a client profile and a record. So we're looking at client record information and clinic visits. What you're going to see when you click on that little button in the search results that gives you this client record up here is this initial display. You're going to have household information. You'll have your client name, date of birth, age, gender, and then this is their client ID number here after the number sign. The update button, at any time you want in a record, you can hit the update button and update any of the demographic information for the individual at that time. Household information is the main thing displayed whenever you go into an initial record. You do still have an availability on searching for other items within this specific page. However, one of the things we're looking for is clinic visits. You'll note that this pops up in your user options section right at the very bottom. Again, if you want to update the client information, you click on this button right here. That'll take you into the household information. You can update that at any time. When you have a returning client, you always want to make sure that all their information is up to date. So once you go in and change it, you can hit update. That'll give you the fields in which to fill out. Fill out the patient information. Hit update again, and you can find them in there after that. Now, I should say there's a couple of things you can update when you go in. You'll notice that you can do contact information as far as address is concerned. When you go in there, you can also get to personal identifications as far as IDs are concerned. If you need to add a Medicaid or a Social Security number in there, this would be the place to do it. It's all under that update screen. So if you click on this and then dig into it a little bit, you'll be able to add a new Medicaid number, a new Social Security number if you have it. Once you click on the add there, you identify the type, put in the number, and then click add. And that would allow you to update that person's household information as far as IDs is concerned. Now, for clinic visits, which is going to be the meat and potatoes of your iCare use, you'll note that this pops up on your left navigation screen. Now in real time, that button's going to pop up the moment that you click on a client number in order to open up this record. So you'll get that client visits section right over here in your left navigation. Now to open an existing client's visits, all you have to do is click on that, and that'll be a little shortcut for you on your toolbar. You also have it on the top nav if you want to choose that. You also have it on the left nav. It's really either or. It's much like the advanced search. So there are multiple places in which you can find that clinic information. Now if you wanted to add a new clinic visit, that's where you click on this button right here, which will allow you to then open up a clinic visit data entry set of fields. Just to view an existing clinic visit as is, you would click on this view button, which will then allow you to enter that client record, and then see all of the previously existing entered information. If you want to add a new client, of course, you would click on the Add New button, which is right there. It'll open you up to this page. And what you need to do in this page is to follow your chart and enter all pertinent information from that chart that matches these boxes. Now some of these have been trimmed down and will continue to do a little trimming as far as the data we're collecting. But again, the required fields are in yellow and or designated as required. You want to enter all of the pertinent information into this set of fields that you can. Once you've done so and you're confident that you've captured everything from that patient's information and put it into the record, go ahead and hit update. Now you'll know that you've entered a qualifying visit when this little green checkbox appears. And to complete the client visit, all you have to do is click Add Visit, which will be right here. In the event that you don't have a qualifying visit, this language will pop up. And either way, you go ahead and click Add Visit, and that'll add the record to the patient. Go ahead and click OK, which leads us to our next section, which will be adding new clients. We saw a little bit about going into existing clients. This is going to be specifically talking about how to add a new client into iCare. Now, adding a new client is very simple from the iCare homepage. You'll have these options after you do a search for an individual. We want to make sure that we are not creating duplicates, so we ask that you do search, and we ask that you search twice for an individual just to make sure that you don't have the person already existing in iCare. So we ask that you do search twice, and once you realize that you don't have that individual in there, we ask that you hit the Add Clients button after the search results. Now this will bring you up to an Add New Client pop-up. Anything that you have put in the search criteria, either on the advanced or the quick search, is going to automatically appear. For instance, we searched for mouse, and mouse is already entered for us. So if you are entering by partial initials, you're going to want to make sure you have a full first name, last name, and all information pertinent in there. Another very special thing to pay attention to is that you have entered every single piece of information from the patient's form into this section. One other very special aspect about this page is that it is a scroll bar. You'll note here, this is not all the information that exists on the page. So, I will show you what that looks like in real time. Once you've completed all the data entry under this specific pop-up to add a new client, you'll hit To Summary in order to check that you've entered all the proper information, but I want to show you what that looks like when you're trying to enter a new client, because this scroll bar can be a little tricky. So I'm in my environment, I've searched twice, I'm going to click Add Client. You'll note all the information I put into the search results has popped up here. I've got to add some information for myself, but this is what I wanted to show you, this scroll bar. You really have to move it down in order to make sure you get all of the sections filled out. All sections with the exception of 5 are required. So that was just what I wanted to demo to you. Once you enter all this information, you go ahead and hit To Summary, and that'll show you all the information you've entered. That's when you double check to make sure that you have properly created a new client. So the bottom half of that data entry is going to look like this. This is sections 3 through 5. Once you've entered all of these, which looks a little bit like this, you can add contact information in section 5. We do recommend that you do this if you have the information available. And once you've done this, you can hit To Summary. So, when the summary pops up, you check all of your pertinent information, make sure that you have properly entered it all. This is where you double check to make sure you've properly created a new client. Once you know you've done all the data entry perfectly, you go ahead and hit Finish. Once Finish is selected, you then want to load the patient into iCare. So once you do this, you can then add clinic visits. So once you've loaded the individual into iCare, you'll get this screen, which will then allow you to either add clinic visits or update. In the event that you wanted to revise an already existing clinic visit, what you would do is search for the client, click on their ID number, and enter their record. Now once you've clicked on that clinic visit, click View on the clinic visit, this will pop up. You'll hit Edit Procedures. This will allow you to select further items that are further below here and allow you to update that clinic visit as necessary. This is a great way that once you realize perhaps that you've missed a procedure, or you've missed a little bit of counseling, you've clicked all the way through it and you realize, wait a minute, this person should be qualifying. You can re-enter by hitting the View section on the client visit, which will take you into this information, and then you can edit this procedures list and then add anything you need in this section down below. Of course, once you have added that information, you're going to want to click Update, and that's the way in which we make sure that we are saving all added information into iCare. So that concludes our manual data entry section of the iCare Family Planning Data System. If you have any questions, you can always contact Nick Roth at nicholas.roth@state.co.us. Thank you very much for listening all. I wish you the best of luck of data entering in iCare.